One day, someday, we will. Oh, here we
We're
go.
probably live
We're
already.
going live. But when it says you're going live and when you're actually live, I don't know. So I'm just going to start it. All right. What's up, profitable stylists? Here we go. We think we're live.
You really
we
don't know?
we never know. I never know. I never know. You press go live and then it says you're going live and then it says you're eventually live. But in between that time, when is it actually? Do you start talking? Never know. We need one of them director people to clap the thing and go, go, send it.
Are you charging enough money? Oh, this one gets me heated, man. It really gets me heated. But you know what? In my like anger reading stuff on Facebook, the forums,
Mm,
people asking about money. What do you charge in your area? I'm not sure if I'm charging enough. But in all this anger, and I'll get into it in a second, I did come down to earth and I thought, you know what? I remember. You do have to try to sometimes remember your beginnings, where you came from, because sometimes you get so into something or so good at something, you forget when you were bad at it,
mm,
or you were a beginner. And I go back, I'm in a small town. I remember thinking I could never charge that much. I'll never have that many clients. I'll never be successful. I'm just in a small town. Maybe I need to move to New York or Chicago. I used to think all those things that I see and hear now, and I somehow grew past it. Some people never grow past it. And so that's what
mm,
we're here for.
yeah,
We want to
yeah.
talk to you guys that are out there that just think you can't make money, don't know what to charge. But the latest one was on Facebook recently where somebody said something about a foil highlight. I can't remember the exact question, but they're all very similar. But this one was more like, I am surprised at what so and so is getting for foil highlights in my area. I thought I should be getting more. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's a little in the better direction. What do you, what do you, this was one of the forums where there's a lot of end users, customers on it also. So there's customers and they're asking, what do you pay for highlights in your area? Because as
Mm,
a hairdresser, I feel like um, the prices aren't right in my area, or so and so's getting too much or too little. I don't know. I don't think my area can support what's going on. What are you used to paying for highlights? And it was kind of cool. And so I just remember one girl's was low as $60, and everybody was mad at her. You what? Because her hair looked pretty good. She sent a picture, and she goes, I get highlights for $60. That includes a shampoo, cut, blow dry, and style.
wow.
And I thought, okay, that is a little low.
So
And
I
then
would ignorantly say, I would very ignorantly assume that that's a supercut level or like a hair cuttery level, like a Regis
or some,
Corporation.
or maybe somebody at home in their garage or
Or so,
kitchen.
or you know what? I always forget about the home. Yeah, I always forget about that too.
And so then, of course, many of the prices were in the at least between 1 and 200, and then quite a few between 2 and 300, and then some people that were saying 4 and 500. There was so many people saying, "Oh my goodness, how do you get that? That is a ripoff." And I don't think any of them are ripoff because first of all, we have no idea all the details of all the answers. You don't have an idea how thick the hair is, how long it is, what they're wanting, 500 colors, ombre balayage rooted with a little bit of this. There's so much that can happen. They could have been going from black to platinum. There's oh shoot, I just kicked my
You're
screen.
okay. You get so
There's
excited.
there's so many details that could be in there. But the things I wanted to talk about and just kind of touch on is it's surprising to me that these the question and the mentality is your area, money, area. That has nothing to do with what you charge. It only has something to do with where you start. That's all I can say about that. Sure, I get there's two
Mm,
categories.
okay.
Yeah,
I'll hear you
there's
out. I'll hear you out.
there's two categories. Yeah, and of course this is our opinions. To me, there's two categories to start with, and then there'll be a couple categories after that. But to start with, the two categories are do you have clients yet? Like, are you a beginner right out of school, Or are you a successful, busy stylist with a whole bunch of clients and asking this question? Because there's a different answer for each. I don't think you can come right out of school and charge $500 for a foil highlight. You probably could. You probably have the talent level, but do you have anything to back that up? Do you have any body believing that you should charge that? Do you have any clients that have gotten it and liking it? So it goes right back to the basic supply and demand. To me, even if you're a stylist that's been doing hair for 10 years, but you're doing 3 or 4 clients a week because you just never worked good enough or marketed good enough to get busy, that's a whole different story. Or you're a really good stylist in Slidell, Louisiana, where I am right now, and I moved to a big city, big town, lots of people, and I say, I'm really good. I'm charging a lot of money. And nobody comes to me because nobody knows me. So you've got to start somewhere and then steer that ship, in my opinion. So where you start and where you end, it has more to do with who knows you, what you're doing, that path, that trajectory, not what city you live in. That's all people seem to base it on. What city do you live in, and what do people charge?
I will agree with you on that's what a lot of people base it on. Where I will disagree, in my opinion, what is the value? What determines the value of the service? Is it the price? Is it the experience? Is it
quite a few things?
Is it the time, or is it the service? Yeah, and what is the customer service? So that's my 4 things that I base it on. And all of those 4 factors
Say them again.
So to me, how much time the service takes, like how much time do you spend doing the service?
I'm writing these down.
Yeah, yeah, and because I really have a thing in my mind in how I broke this down. So how much time you spend, what kind of experience are you offering, what kind of follow-up customer service are you providing, and what is the what was it? Time, value, or time, experience, customer service, and efficiency. What is the actual service that you're providing? Like what is the technique that you're using for the service that you're providing?
You call that efficiency?
Efficiency, yeah. Because I think, yes, the first thing that people do is they're like, oh, I live in X town or in X city, X state, whatever. So by a minimum, this is my baseline charging, right? And then they're like, oh, I'm only doing this, or I'm just doing this. So that has another arbitrary baseline price who pulled out of their butt, nobody knows, and then this is where I disagree with you. Then they're like, oh, I only have X amount of experience. I have to wait till I get to what is it? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? I need 5 clients. I need 100 clients before I can go move up to the next tier. I don't know what that value. I don't know what that number is either.
So you misunderstand me when I say experience. I don't mean experience in time and years. I mean talent level, because you can get experience.
Oh, okay. Then I agree with
you. A day
you.
or two.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you start off doing a highlight. Not too many people are good the first time they do it. But the second time they do that same thing, there's light years of differences between people's talent levels. Some people are prodigies. And on the second time, I'm like, oh, my God, she's going to be really good and fast in our salon. And some of them, I'm like, oh, man, this is going to take some months to get good at. So and when I say experience, I mean, you've done it once or twice or 3 times, and now you just get it. You're worth more. Your skill, your talent, your end product is worth so much. Many times you don't even have to market or advertise. That client's hair looks so freaking good. All their friends and family want to come in and look like them. Mm-hmm. And then it just grows. And then that's where the hairdressers really freak me out. And these are the ones we hire. They come in and they've got this booked solid clientele of highlight customers, and they're done. They're done. And this is my favorite one. This is my favorite question on Facebook. When do you stop taking new clients? When do you cut your books off?
Why is that a question? In what other industry, aside from the hair industry,
I have arrived.
What right? What other industry says we don't want any new business? Other than the
You know
beauty
what?
freaking business.
The first time I ever experienced anything like that, I remember I was a teenager in a local health club, Cross Gates Athletic Club. They said that they had reached peak capacity and they stopped taking new members. And back then, the very first time I ever heard it, I thought, wow. For a minute, I thought, that's impressive, I guess. You're to me, in my mind as a young teenager, I thought of it as they are the best they can be. But you know what the biggest problem was, and this is why you should never do it in any business, is I remember I don't know, my later teens, maybe my early 20s, I was talking to somebody about joining a place, and I said, you can't join Crossgates because they don't take any more new members. And they
And
said,
they went out of business?
no, they're still in business.
Are they
They
still in
they
business?
learned the error of their ways. And somebody said, "Oh no, they're they're taking new members." That was something they did for like 6 months, way back 5 years ago, when they were going through some kind of remodel or something. I said, "Wow, that rumor stuck." Do you know how many people would not join that place because they thought they didn't take any new members? Now, here's the problem: people move, leave, get sick, die,
Die.
quit. It's called attrition, right? You lose. Everything is just declining on this planet, you know? I mean, and so if you don't try to grow it, it falls apart. Nothing just stays stagnant. Everything is moving forward, usually because you try and help it move forward, or you're leaving it alone. It's slowly dying. It's slowly coming down. People are just leaving, moving, going to a different hairdresser. And so you can't just say you're done because your clients are not going to stay with you forever. And that's when supply and demand comes into play. You are in demand. You've only got, let's pick it. You should choose this too. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. You should choose that work schedule you feel comfortable working. Listen, all the rules are not there in the beginning. You do whatever the heck it takes to get busy. If you got so many factors. If you're young, work 50, 60, 80, 90 hours a week. Build that business while you can. You got no wife, no husband, no children. You've got nothing but time. You love your job. Work 100 or something hours. Travel the country. Do celebrities hair if you can. Then things happen to set. Maybe you're not that kind of traveling person. Maybe you are married. Maybe you have children. You want to settle down, stay in one little town. You can't do that. And you want to go, oh, I can only do 40, 50 hours a week. That's fine too. But set that parameter. So I'm going to work 40 hours a week. And here's a couple of the standards. There's always this gray area, but you can only work this much time a week before you die, have some kind of healthy work-life balance. And then those clients come back, right? So I do my 40 hours here. I'm going to separate the screen up into 4. And then I got 40 hours here. So I do let's see, it takes 2 hours to do a really good color, highlight, service, whatever. So I got 20 clients in that 40 hours here and another 20 clients here. And then I do that 2 more times, 20, 40, 60, 80 clients. And just say I'm really good and people come back every month. So in a month, they come back. Well, that's all I can do is 80 clients, right? So that's when people say, I'm done. I got all 80 done. So what do you do now? You're friends with them, and this is why you don't do it. And I did the same thing. Raising prices is hard with your friends because you love your clients, you love doing their hair, you love the conversations, when their kids got married or when they're getting married or got married, they're having children. And to raise the price, many times it's not your business owner. That's why I'm so good at it with my stylists because I do it for them. But as a stylist in a rental salon or in your kitchen, you're doing your friend's hair and you're doing it for 20 years and it's charging the same price, but all your supplies are going up. You're paying more for everything. Your house note, your rent, your whatever, your milk costs more, but you don't charge any more as a hairdresser. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with me? I did the same thing. So you gotta, it's hard to remember, but if you did it more often, like once every 6 months or every single year, first of the year, you just went up a little, it wouldn't be so bad. New year, new prices. But we wait a few years and then all of a sudden we should have gone up $5 or $10 per service or sometimes 20. Then the customer feels it, sees it, hears it, hurts, gets mad, leaves you. Good. If you go up $10 or $15 and you don't have any clients, well, maybe you shouldn't be going up. But if you're booked solid, you should be going up on your prices. You want to lose a client or two so you can fit a new client in at the new price, or they all just pay the new price. Nobody complains, but that is rare. That's my soapbox. I'll have more to say in a minute, but I thought I should let you talk.
You are passionate about this topic. You are very passionate
I really
about this
am.
topic.
I feel like I finally figured it out, and
All
I
right.
didn't have to figure it out.
Let me ask you this way. Does it matter how long a service should take? Like, to me, if it takes me 5 minutes to apply a color, or 5 minutes to do a haircut, or if it takes me 15, 20 minutes or an hour to apply a color or do a haircut, should that factor in how much you should charge?
So it's not a simple answer. For the most part, if I had to just say one word answer, I'd say no. But some people need a starting point. And when you're doing something new or different, a new color technique comes out and you don't know where to start or what to charge because you don't know, you should have a baseline that your time is worth a certain amount of money. And so that's kind of where it starts. But there's an old, it's a teaching, marketing, sales joke. It's a water heater repairman comes to your house and your water heater. Do you know this one? Your water heater is not heating the water, and you ask him to come in. He looks at your water heater. He walks around to the back side, and he touches it, and then he kicks it in this one little spot on the back side, and he goes, "All right, that'll be $200." And they're like, "All you did was kick my water heater." He goes, but knowing where to kick the water heater to make it work. So there's some level of your knowledge and experience is worth money. So time doesn't necessarily matter, but you should balance your work with, you should be making at least a certain amount of money for your time. At the end of the day, the week, the month, you should know that you're getting at least what this baseline, if you're a brand new hairdresser, maybe $20-$30 an hour is good money. But as you get experience, $40, $50, $80, $100 an hour is not unheard of. When you're doing hair replacement, hair extensions, if you're making, you may not fill your book up 40 hours a week, but if I'm doing hair replacement or extensions, if I'm not making at least $250 for each hour I'm working, I'm not making enough money because I'm one of the better ones out there. So you got dollars an hour in categories of what you do, but you got that base too. If you're working for,
but that's the difference, because one of the things I run into at the salon myself all the time, especially with new clients. A new client will come in, I'll sit down, I'll spend 10-15 minutes doing a consultation, and they're like, "Wow, nobody ever spent this much time ever talking to me, especially this long." And I said, "Okay, no problem," right? And then we move forward, and let's say we're going to do their hair, do her hair. I'll go back there, I'll mix color, I'll come back, and within 10 minutes, I've got it slapped on her head. Within like 5 or 10 minutes, I've got it slapped on her head, and I'm done. And she's like, "What, that's it?" I'm like, "Well, no, you have to process. We got to wait a little bit. I'm going to set a timer. Do you want anything? I'll get you a beverage or something, a coffee, water, something, or a glass of wine." She's like, No. I mean, like, that's it? You're done? She's like, "You didn't do anything." I'm like, "Woman, it's on your head. Like, you're done. I've completed the first application part of the process, right?" And then they get to the register, like at the end of the service, they look in the mirror. "Oh my God, this is great. I love it. It looks fantastic. I've never had it look so good. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, thank you. They get to the register. They're like, "Man, I've only been here an hour. Seriously?"
How much is the charge?
$85. I'm like, "Yeah, you've been here for an hour." And she's like, "Well, that's like I'm usually in the salon 3 hours." I'm like, "Yeah, well, get used to only being here for about 30 minutes from now on, because I'm not spending an hour on you next time you come in. Let me tell you."
It's still going to be $85.
And it's still going to be $85. But let me just tell you, this is your first visit, so I spend a little extra time with you. I usually don't spend 10-15 minutes talking to anybody. And I usually don't spend 10 minutes applying color. I just took my time doing it for you this first time because I wanted to make sure, I had to balance out, whatever. A lot of stuff was going on, right? And I let you process a little longer than I probably should have, because I wanted to make sure I needed a baseline basically for myself, right? So then sometimes they start arguing with me. Wait a minute. Next time I'm gonna be here like for less amount of time, and I'm still gonna charge this much. So what is the value to you? What is the intrinsic value to you? Is it how much? Like, am I getting penalized for being that good at doing your hair? So I should charge you less. So I should drag out and make you sit here for 3 hours.
Some businesses do that. Some because they can't explain it like that. So it's just like, right, you're getting paid because you know where to kick the water heater.
Because I know where to kick the water. This is exactly, and what is that
right.
worth
and
to
so,
you?
So some haircuttery type barber shops, they'll tell their barbers, because a barber cut will get faster and faster, and they will start charging more money. So they ask the barber to slow down. I've got friends that have worked at these places, and they'll say, listen, we're charging $75 for a man's barber cut. I know you can do it in 4 minutes, but can you please slow down, drag it out to 20 or 30 minutes? We want you to in there. They're making, obviously they're probably working on commission, but they're charging $75. They want them to do 2 in an hour. So it's $150 an hour. So they'll make $75 an hour. Not bad for a barber. I mean, I know some make much more. Most make much less. So this girl was telling me, so we would slow it down. We'd try to make it take 30 minutes. Take a long time doing a shampoo. We'd do a longer consultation, and it was relaxing. And if that's part of your whole business plan and model, fine. But to me, I think if you do a 4-minute haircut and it is what they want, they like it, it's great. If you add the shampoo in, that's fine. And you still charge $75, it's still a $75 haircut, whether you slow down or not. So you know what industry I've used to kind of compare this to is the mechanics industry. They have what they call book values, book time, hours. And I just happened to have somebody say it was a Facebook thing that popped up, and it said, this is why, no, I think it was a YouTube short. This is why people don't want to be mechanics anymore. And he's showing all the parts all over the mechanic shop just to change a transmission on some new truck. And he's saying, look at all the parts I have to take out. And this job only pays 4 hours. And it reminded me, that's how mechanics get paid. When you go there and you say, I need, I don't know what I need, you tell me. And then, of course, hopefully they don't lie to you. And they tell you, you need a new starter. Well, how much is that going to be? All the mechanics take a different amount of time to do it. But they take what's fair or average, or somebody has a standard in the mechanics industry, and they say a starter takes 2 hours to change on this make and model. And it's $50 an hour. So it's a $100 job plus the cost of the starter. So it ends up being like $150, whatever. Well, all services have what they call book time. It's a amount of time it should take the average mechanic, but you don't watch them like a hairdresser, so you don't know. So if it's a newer mechanic and it takes them longer, they say that's okay, he's learning. But if it's an experienced mechanic and he can do more of them, he can get paid for 2 hours worth of work, and he might do that 2-hour job in 30 minutes. So he can do 4 2-hour jobs. So he ends up making more money because his experience allows him to. And with hairdressers, our clients are right there. So the better and faster we get, the harder it is to justify in front of the client, because they only have a time mentality a lot of times. They only see the fact that the time, like you just said. But that's why so many celebrity stylists got it figured out online. They're delivering an experience. And that's what it's all about.
That was going to be my next point. So now, let's just say you're there okay, we went out to eat on Saturday. We went to a restaurant on Saturday. Okay.
That's a good example, because you can get full at all different prices.
At all different prices and at all different times too. So, okay, we went and saw a movie. John Wick 4. If you like action movie, Bernard, go watch John Wick 4. Oh, baby. So we went to movie. We saw it. We went to the show, and then afterwards we went to the restaurant. We're all hyped up from the movie, so we're all hanging out. We're all having a great time talking about what we just watched. The waiter comes over, and he happened to be a really good waiter. In a way that he was personable, in a way of how he handled the table and how he was kind of goofing off and joking with us and stuff, right? And so we didn't realize that it took an hour for the food to be delivered. We just kept ordering appetizer. He kept bringing bread. We were like 3 drinks in by the time food came, like we were having such a good time that we didn't realize we ate within 5 minutes. Like even Carmelina, who eats like a bird, she eats so slow. Even she inhaled her food. We were starving by the time the food came. Okay. And we didn't, and until we looked at our watch, like we got done eating and we're like, all right, let's get, anybody want dessert? They're like, no, man, we're stuffed. We're like, we ate way too fast, right? And then my one buddy goes, wow, we've been here for an hour and a half. I'm like, an hour and a half? Like we ate in 5-10 minutes, it felt like. So then when he came back over, we start talking to him and he's like, we're really running behind. I really appreciate how patient you guys have been. I really appreciate what a great table you guys have been. And we're like, it's actually the other way around. We appreciate how cool you've been because we got lost in time. We even forgot that we were freaking hungry. Like the experience was so fun that the value of the waiting didn't matter to us. And then when the bill came, it was like, we
more than you should have.
It was more than way more than we should have because we just kept drinking and we just kept ordering little appetizer stuffs because we didn't think anything of it, right?
So
but we weren't mad. We actually tipped him really, really like way. We gave him like 40%. We all chipped in a bunch of dollars to tip him.
And we live off of tips, so we appreciate tips, and I always tip more than I should too.
So if you are getting the value, so like the way I figure is this, I am quicker at my services when I book clients behind the chair than the average client, than the average stylist. But every client that leaves my chair, I make sure they are happy and satisfied with their visit, with the time, little or long, however long or short they've been with me. I make sure that they are satisfied with the time they've spent with me and with the experience. They are happy with what they've got before they leave. So to me, yes, I understand what you're saying about the booking, but I don't think that should penalize us. I don't think that should penalize us either.
No, it shouldn't. It's right. There's price, there's quality, but what is quality? The customer has to. So they have to agree or believe it's quality, not just me. Yeah. So to me, a big part of what I guess to follow up your number 3, customer service would be in this category here, because to me, the relationship with the client is what matters. Well, I say what matters. There's another one I'm going to go into, and it's going to be this whole appearance and how you communicate with the client. That'll be next. But the relationship, I tell people now, me knowing that I did not have the best or the most amazing cut, color, highlight skills. I was pretty freaking good at extensions, but and cutting them. But for a long time, I didn't have the great skills of so many parts of the technique that I did charge way more than the average hairdresser did. But it was because of the relationship I had with the client. Now, I got good at a lot of things, but I got better at the relationship before I did at the quality of the service. I started to realize and was very honest with the client. We're doing your hair today. Now, listen, I'm okay if you don't think it's perfect. That's what this communication's all about. If when we're doing highlights, sure, you can show me a picture, but I started doing hair when you didn't have the internet of pictures, millions of pictures. You had books.
And you used to come in with the little clippings.
Yeah, and you might not have the exact thing you're looking for because of the limitations. So there's a bit of a guess, a bit of a translation. So when somebody comes in and says, I want highlights, light, medium, or heavy. And medium, a little heavier than medium or a little lighter than medium. How blonde? Really blonde? What is really blonde? In my 30 years, really blonde was very yellow at one time. Now it's very white now. And so blonde is not even blonde. So you've got this translation of language within the same freaking language. And so getting what they want out of their mind into my mind through my hands, there's a lot of breakdown. And so I tell them, listen, this is an ongoing relationship, and things will change along the way. So I'm gonna get as close to what I think you want as we do it. And if it's pretty close, great. But even in our next appointment, I want you to let me know, like, hey, I think we should go a little shorter, a little longer, more layers, more one length, a little lighter, a little more highlights, and a little lighter. Let's always be adjusting a little bit. I want you to be happy. Tell me what you want. But if it's way off on this time, then we fix it for free. We adjust it for free. But if it's a little adjustment, don't keep coming. We're not going to do this every day until we get it 100% perfect.
Mm-hmm,
I don't.
mm-hmm.
I lower their expectations and say it's probably not going to be perfect today. I'm going to try my hardest to get it as close to what you want. But this is it's art. There's no like number one is number one, number two is number two. This is so subjective, you know? And so that's why I never really was good at updos, because that's even more subjective in my opinion.
It is. Yeah, it is.
So it's just this mess of hair up there as far as I'm concerned, you know?
Wow.
I know. I'm sure it made a lot of hairdressers mad. I'm so impressed when people do updos. I just cannot do it. I even took an updo class at Jacques Desange in New York one time and barely got through one, and they praised me on it. And I thought at the end of class, I was like, yep, I'll never do this again. I thought with some of the best hairdressers in the world, they did the Cannes Film Festival and they're teaching me, and I got through it, which is impressive. It's like, wow. But part of what I wanted to mention was the how you treat people.
How you treat people.
Like right now on this live, we are expecting a certain, well, let's talk about YouTube. YouTube wants to use this, what we do, because we're consistent. We were getting a bit of following from the world to watch us. So they say, oh, you guys have a bit of fame. We want to put commercials on your YouTube channel for people that don't want to pay for YouTube Red. That's how you get out of commercials. That's what I do. I pay for YouTube Red. But anyway, if you, they want to show commercials. And so they say there's a certain level of professionalism where we can get more people to advertise on your channel. It's part of playing the game of life. I don't love parts of it, but part of it is we can't say curse words.
Yeah, I have to have Tourette's before we go live, and then I have to have Tourette's after we go live.
Purposely cannot say curse words so that a certain professional level of vendors out there can say, I only advertise on non-cursing channels, and that gives you more opportunity to market out there. Now, you know, some people just don't curse as a rule in their life, and that's great. Some do, but it's considered on the world stage a level of something, I guess maybe call it professionalism or value in money. And so in the salon, the same thing. There's a certain value. Notice we both wear black most of the time. The most comfortable thing you can wear is most likely a t-shirt before you go to no shirt. And even a black t-shirt looks more professional than every other color, right?
This is light black. Okay, this is a hairdresser's wardrobe. But which shade of black are you gonna wear today?
Light black. You know what, light black, medium black, or dark black.
Right.
That is hilarious. So, just the color of our clothes starts off changing the level of professionalism. How the words you use when you're talking to your clients. But before you even open your mouth, we talked about clothes. Let's cover appearance, because I just did this with my staff. And I was like, oh, you know what? We're going to 2 hair shows in a row, 2 weekends in a row, bring in different hairdressers. Let me talk to them. First, I wanted to say, some of you guys need to whiten your teeth. You're going to have hairdressers in your face. You got yellow teeth. Do you even go to the dentist? You know, and then some of them have some really bad looking nails. We're doing extensions. They need a manicure. I'm like, clean up your fingers. I work with beehives, and I'm noticing I've got like bee propolis and honey. I'm not honey. Wax on my hands. So I told them,
you need a manicure before you come to town next week.
I know. I said to myself, and I told my wife, I said, before I tell all of you guys what you need to do to look prettier for the hair show, let me tell you what I do. And then some of these things are things you might want to do, or you might want to do more. But I get a haircut and I color. Like, see, I got a little bit of gray showing, but I was a lot grayer in last week's video. I get it done at least a couple weeks before, so it looks a little more natural and not so dark. I might get it colored one more time before I get there, but I'm going a little more natural around the edges, changing up my haircut. But I'm specifically planning my color and cut for the show to
Hmm.
look a little more presentable. I will shave on the first day. I like a little bit of growth on my face, so I'll let it probably grow throughout the 3 days that I'm doing the show. But
I
I'll
hate
start
you,
off,
by the way. You shave like what, once a week?
yeah,
I
about,
hate you. And
yeah.
once an hour. I shave once an hour.
So I don't know if you guys notice I'm getting darker. I'll tan before a show too, because I think I look better with a little darker skin.
Nah,
And then I whiten
pasty
my
white,
teeth.
baby.
I will. I, I need my eyebrows waxed or something because I'm starting to get a few hairs here, and so I'm telling my staff this. I said I will wax my eyebrows. I will whiten my teeth. I'll tan a little. I'll probably get some new clothes to wear, new shoes. I'll probably have collared shirts that with long sleeves and button up. I'll probably roll up my sleeves so I trim the hair on my arms a little bit shorter to look a little neater. So because I got some long thick hair, and so I've got a neater looking hair on my arms because my hands are going to be looked at. And then because of the button up, my shirt's going to be down open a little bit here. So I trim the hair on I just do my whole chest and stomach because, I'm there. I'm not going to just trim a little circle right here.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, that would be funny. But I grow a lot of hair on my body, and so to look a little neater, I just take it down. I don't go down to the skin. I'm no bodybuilder, and I don't know. I think it looks a little funny when you go down to the skin, but I neaten up all the hair on my chest and probably my whole body. But I'm just saying the important parts are like right here and my arms because they show. And so from that, some of the other people that are going, I get texts later in the day. Hey, brand of white strips that you use. Where do you get them? And so, where do you tan? Do you go? And I was out in the yard working over the last few days with t-shirts on. I started noticing I started getting a little bit
Oh,
of
you got the
farmer's tan.
farmer tan?
I got a ringer. So I started taking my shirt off, and I was like, I got to even this tan line out. I can't be having a farmer's tan. I don't know if any of my tan lines are going to show at the show, but look, Eddie, I got a little bit of a. But I think the point is I care. Oh, I take the hair out of my nose. I get a little nose hair trimmer or
You do
wax the
what?
hairs in my nose and my ears. I, you know, I have had over 30 years now and being on a lot of stages at a lot of hair shows. I've gotten either compliments or insults about every single one of these categories. People are
Yeah,
coming up
yeah.
looking really close at me doing hair, and they're like, "Do you bite your nails?" I'm like, "Oh my god, that's embarrassing." I
No,
said, well,
you do spend a lot of time and effort making yourself presentable for the show. You pretty, very very pretty, right? You don't
"Try."
have the natural thing that I have, so you're not ready to go to show. You know, this porcelain skin. This is not easy having porcelain skin like this. No, you do spend a lot of time. It does make a difference though, because again, these are all factors that build into the overall value. It also, I don't care who you are, what you look like, at what level you are either. If you maintain yourself to whatever degree, you are going to be more confident automatically.
That's true.
And then
That's
you will
true.
just carry yourself better automatically.
Right.
And that actually feeds into the professionalism and it feeds into the value as well. Somebody would be willing to go to you if you are more confident. I may be 10 times better than you at doing hair, but if I'm timid and you're confident, they're going to go to you. It doesn't matter how good I am. I see
Or
this
I can
at
charge
the
more
shop
because I'm
all the
confident.
time. Or you could charge more. Why do people get paid the price they get paid? Is because they ask for that. There is a price for everybody. There's a value. Every client or customer out there has a number that is a good value to them.
Until you change that in their head with the experience you give them.
And all of these come in. It got nothing to do with where you live. It's got nothing to do
So
with
let
who
me
you
throw a
are.
really big curveball in this whole situation. I've often thought about this whole price thing. And if I moved to another city and I had to start from scratch, how would I do it? First of all, let me just tell you what I see in the camera right now. I shipped a lot of stuff to you for our hair show in Chicago. And one of those is 2 extra lights I usually have down here. Like, I don't think our video is as valuable right now because I have a shadow.
Okay.
I can't stop seeing it. I usually have more lights down low to get rid of the lower shadows in my eyes because I have deep eye sockets, you know. I feel like I need to be like this so the light.
Yeah, sit like that. Yeah, sit like that.
Do I look better?
Yes, we can only have one raccoon. I'm the raccoon between the two of us, okay?
So if I were to go to another city, it's funny because it's
You
the
take
way
the
I
lights
teach
with you?
hairdressers. Huh?
You take the lights with you if you go to another city?
That probably. If I was to build a clientele from scratch in a new town, let's say I'm the wife of a military guy, and I'm off to a new city, and like, oh man, I got to get started. And this happens so often across our country. How would I get started? And so many. This is how I teach all my stylists to build their clientels, and so many people are against it. That I wouldn't say so many more than I'm surprised at how many are against this strategy. To me, my very first thing I would do is work free for the whole first month. I would just work free. I would do clients' hair for free for a month. And most people are like, free? I would never work for free. Well, I tell you what, during that first month, if I'm working free and you're only going to work if you charge people, who do you think is going to do more clients? Well, it just really depends on some other things, maybe confidence level. But I feel super confident that I could tell somebody, I'm brand new to this town. Nobody knows how good I am yet until I show people. I would like to do your hair for free so that people can start seeing it. What do you think? I will do whatever you want. Let's get started. That would be my investment in my future. Might even do it for 6 to 8 weeks, you know, but I would totally be trying to do hair all day for free for the first month, month and a half. Now, there are other ways to get started. Go assist a busy hairdresser, work under them, get to know the people in the town. But if I put any marketing or advertising or Facebook ads out there, that is not going to work. People don't care about going to a new hairdresser. They want to go where they're comfortable. You've got to have a huge draw to get a brand new client in your chair. Like, somebody has to see the stuff you've done and like it and go, who is your hairdresser? What are you? So yeah, you might be able to put some of your pictures up on Instagram that you did in your old city in this new city, and people see it and like, I want that hairdresser, and you might get a few clients. But it's going to be way more powerful if I approach complete strangers through social media or at local coffee shops and grocery stores and say, I want you and you and you and you. I will do this whole place for free tomorrow in the salon just for fun to start building my clientele. I want people to see what I can do. Make a big old spectacle of it. Go in Starbucks and say, I want to do the whole staff this week, you know, and they're like, what? You know, and so then, you know, cuts, colors, avant-garde hair, fantasy colors, whatever. I mean, if you can afford it, do some free hair extensions. Those people are going to come back and start paying for the services if you've got the confidence and the skills and the chops and the experience. Give them the good experience. And so then you do their hair really well, put that time in. They're going to come back and start paying and like you. And then you never have to do it free again in that town. So free is how I get started. So when people are asking about prices, I'm like, you sure aren't going to like what I have to say, because you guys that are doing nothing should be working for free. Is that too expensive for your town?
Right, right. Because I think that goes into customer service. And customer service, a lot of people think, oh, I did the client's hair and I was nice to them while they were there. Yeah, okay, fine. And you should be. But then when they leave, what are you doing for them while they're gone? Have you equipped them properly to maintain their hair? Are you thinking about what you're going to do with them when they come back? And then when you are out and about in the world, like you're saying, right? A hairdresser's day off? Have you ever seen a hairdresser on a day off? We look like we look like a homeless. No. I'm saying when you're not going into the salon, you know, we look like homeless people, man. And you know what? I'm guilty of it myself too. I do not want to get dressed up if I'm not going into the salon at night, you know, but I do need to go to the store for something. Oh yeah. Do I look like whatever the cat dragged in or however the expression says, you know. But then inevitably, what are you doing? What kind of customer service are you doing to your clients when people other than your clients see you out there in the world? Because then if your client knows that person and says, oh, you know, Eddie is awesome, Eddie is this, Eddie is that, and then their friend says, that guy looks like crap. I can't believe you go to that
Eddie.
guy.
He definitely can't do hair.
Right? Is that guy even a hairdresser? You know? But like it really, really makes a difference. And that also feeds into the value. So then going along with what you're saying, if you go up to somebody and you say, I would like to do your hair and I'll even do it for free, and they're going to size you up. They're going to look at you up and down, right? And they're going to be like, you are not coming anywhere near me. You know, be gone, Satan.
That was good when you said the follow-up. So those are both good topics. But, you know, in my head, I was thinking I covered that when I covered customer service. Let me know if you like it, if you want to adjust any through time. But I didn't actually finish that up with what you have as number 3 is follow-up. I say, here's my cell phone number. Text me if you have any questions, problems, challenges. And this world today is way too easy to have a better relationship with your client. We used to have to call a freaking landline and they were never home to answer it, maybe leave a voicemail that they never checked. Yeah. If you'd like to leave a message. And so it was not easy to have a community. Now you can, a quick text, how'd you like your hair yesterday? And then a step further, Brad Swift, oh my goodness, from Midland, Texas, he copies and pastes the link to his Google review. He goes to review himself on Google, and he copies the URL and then pastes it in a text to all of his clients from last week. How did you like your hair last week? Could you give me a review here? And paste the review link right there. So then the hairdresser, the client, just immediately, and if you're a salon owner, we've done this. I'll send that link to all my hairdressers and say, text your last 3 clients and ask them to review you here. And so I did the work for them, and that's why they work for me, because I help the hairdresser not have to do that kind of work. Brad does that for his staff also. And so the link helps get people to like you. But yeah, the relationship after is so easy through texting. Even when we went to email years ago, it was like a step further, like maybe people will check their email and you can have more of a relationship than that phone call that they may not answer. But now, even if you call on a cell phone, you have a better chance of somebody answering, but it takes so much time. Just throw out a few texts real quick. That's what people, that's all they need. I'm sure there are other better, different ways you could do it. But if you throw out a text, that's relationship after, so they remember you, so they definitely come back that second time to make sure you develop the clientele. But like what you were saying and I was saying about the appearance thing, it's just about what to charge. The more your appearance looks good and the words come out of your mouth a little more professionally, then the client feels like they should pay a little more. You know when something's going to cost a little more. When you're doing something and you're having an experience, like you go to buy a sofa and you go to Goodwill, you see and feel the experience and you know this is going to be cheap. But if you go to a high-end furniture store, you're like, they're going to cost a little more here. Same thing with a restaurant. You walk into McDonald's, you know what you're going to pay. You walk into a steakhouse, you're like, it's going to cost a little more. I'm going to feel the same full. It's going to cost a little more. So what you do with the look of your salon, the look of your station, the look of you, and then to take it a step further, which you were talking about in a minute, and then we'll end this thing, is your appearance outside of work, like you said. When I started traveling to teach classes, I would travel really rough. Nobody knew. Then after I had taught a few thousand people around the country, I started seeing people in the airport. Not much.
That's the worst, when you run into people at the airport and you look like crap.
Then I also saw other educators in some of these airports, especially to and from a hair show. You got a lot of hairdressers. And you've got some of those platform artists that we highly respected. And I would see Robert Cromines with Paul Mitchell in the airport. And I thought, he still looks like Robert Cromines. But some people don't look like their persona or the image they want to. So I thought, then I was like, oh God, I have to look somewhat presentable in the airport too, because I started having clients that would fly in from other states to get extensions. That's when I realized, yes, you can pick up people in a different state's airport to come to you as a client as you get better.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you get on the plane, and what does the person next to you do anyway? So what do you do for a living? What do you do? Where are you from? What do you do for a living? You're like, I don't think I should tell you right now because I got a hoodie on, you know, I got my pajamas, my hoodie, my slippers.
You got your fuzzy slippers.
And if you're a girl with long hair and you didn't feel like doing it, and you could really, that hair can really make you look good or bad. It's like you might as well put your earbuds in and try to ignore the person next to you. Like, what? Oh, I'm sorry.
All
And
right.
go
So
back
one
to
last
sleep.
question for you then.
Go ahead. What is it?
I was always told you take all of your bills and you write it all out and you see how much it costs you to live for a month. And then you should make that money in the first 2 weeks of the month. And then the third week should pay for food and gas. And then the fourth week should just be
gas was part of your bills.
What's that?
No. So food and gas is not part of your bills.
No. Bill. The way I was taught, your bills is what's your house note, what's your insurance, what's your car note.
All but food and gas.
All but food, right? Everything to live, all but food and gas. So it should take you 2 weeks to make that money. The third week should cover food and gas for the month, not just for that week. And then the fourth week should be enough money to put into savings. And then if you have a little bit left over, you go shop or, whatever you do, right? So then based on what that number is at the end of the month, then you got to break that down. How many clients do you need to see per month, per week, per day, at what services? And then that's how you configure your prices.
A lot of ways to do it. And that's not a pretty simple way to do it. But yeah, bottom line is all the money that you pay on bills and shopping and fun and whatever should fit within if this is your income. All that other stuff should be less.
It should be way less.
It should be way less. Many people that this is what they make, and then this is their bills. And so yes, there's no doubt that you should just get rid of credit cards to start with, so you can't put anything on credit, and then make more than you spend would be a good start. We're not going to go into finances today. That's a whole nother.
Oh no, lesson. I'm just saying as a baseline, as an average baseline to figure out some pricing.
That's a good baseline.
Because we're talking about
save something.
Right. We're talking about, have your prices, like don't be scared to charge, but then how much should you charge? The sky is the limit. You get what you ask for. You're going to scare some people away. You're going to get some people that are going to think you're actually cheap, even though you think you're charging high price. And then you're going to get some people that think it's just right. It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears,
True.
So yeah, that's what I got. All right. Next week, we're going to be previewing what we're doing at the America's Beauty Show in Rosemont in Chicago, Illinois. And then the following week, we're going to be in Pennsylvania. So it's going to be a review of what we're going to be doing at that show.
Yep. What day do you fly into Pennsylvania? Saturday or Sunday?
That's a good question. I've been meaning to ask you and I keep forgetting. I think Vinci sent it to me. I got to look. Yeah.
See you guys in Chicago or Pennsylvania.